My action research plan focuses on, does read aloud impact reading comprehension? So the question is, how does read aloud impact reading comprehension in early grades, elementary grades? So the reason I chose this to be my research plan is because I'm a second grade teacher. I teach all subjects: reading, math, science, social studies. And my grade level has been trying to figure out if, for our reading comprehension passages that we're assessing, should we be reading them to the students or not? One thing that we are considering while we are deciding on this is we have to understand that students, they lose focus when they have a long passage. Some of them who aren't strong readers struggle with their words and their phonics skills, which makes it very difficult for them to comprehend what they're reading. They're able to do a little bit better sometimes when being read to them, but the study would help us see if there is a good impact. So, to collect the data for this study, we would have a pre-test, quick checks, and a post-test. So the pre-test would be a cold read assignment or assessment, which is a passage that the kids have never seen before, they've never read it, and they would be given the assessment and given skills that they're being quizzed on. With the quick checks, this would come towards like the middle of the study after they've had some instruction, and this would be able to show what skills they're doing well with, which ones they aren't. That way, when you go into the second part of the instruction, you know what to work on before that post-test, because that post-test is going to be another cold read assessment to see where the students are at the end of the study. Management and timeline. So this would look like the study would start with planning. This is where we would determine what skills we want to assess, how we're going to teach it. Baseline would be giving them that cold read. That way we could analyze the data that we collect from it. Then we would move into the first part of the teaching. So we would work on the comprehension skills using a selected passage. We would use that passage as we're going through the first chunk of teaching. After that first chunk, we would do our progress monitoring, where they would use the passage that they were given to answer questions, and we would be able to collect that data. With that data, we would be able to look at which skills they're still struggling with and work on it with a new passage. Once they have done all of the teaching for the second chunk, we would give the post-test and then be able to review all of that data that we get from the post-test. Who is involved and what are they doing? So, our teachers, one of the big stakeholder. The teachers are responsible for teaching the skills that are being assessed, meaning it has to be a teacher, because the teachers are trained on how they should teach something, the materials that are being used. The students are also a very important part of the study. The students that would be participating would be in second grade. We would also use assistants that will be responsible for collecting data from progress monitoring, and then parents, which are responsible of two things. The most important thing that they are responsible for is giving consent to have their student be a part of the study. Without that permission, it is not ethically okay for their student to participate. Students are still children, they're still considered a minor, especially in elementary school, so their parent has to give consent, whether it's a yes or a no. If it's a no, then they just don't participate. The other thing they're responsible for is to help reinforce those skills at home. There's only so much that can be taught at school. So whether that's doing some homework or reading a book and asking them questions, anything that's going to help reinforce those skills. Our outcome. So the goal is to see if reading aloud the passages to students, if this helps them be able to identify those reading comprehension questions. Because the students are getting lost. Some of them are emergent readers and cannot read at a rate that is conducive to comprehend the materials, meaning some of them are going to pause on their words and be more focused on reading a word correctly than being able to understand the sentence that they just read. And this information would benefit the readers, meaning the students, as well as the teachers. This would help us know what works and what doesn't when it comes to teaching them. Benefits. For professional practice, like I said at the beginning, I'm a second grade teacher, and we are trying to determine at school if read aloud is beneficial to students when we are assessing reading comprehension skills. For our stakeholders, meaning the students, this would benefit them the most because this would impact their education and their grades. So we would be able to see what they actually know versus can they read something. And then my references that I used to help me with my study.